Example 2 is finding a rate from a ratio table. The ratio table shows the cost for different amounts of artificial turf. Find the unit rate in dollars per square feet. So we've got this ratio table, and what a ratio table is just several ratios in a table, pretty self-explanatory. But the thing about the ratio table is that means that all of these values have to be proportional. So what that means is that they have to make sense in their context is kind of the easiest way I could describe it. Because, for example, in this first ratio, we can see that it costs $25, for 25 square feet. I'm going to sneeze. Why does that happen every time I record? Okay, so the amount of square feet of this artificial turf, if we want 25 square feet of artificial turf, it costs us $100. And so the ratios in this table have to make sense in that scenario. Let's say that we wanted 4 times that. Instead of 25, we wanted 100 square feet. Then that means that it should cost us 4 times more of what 25 square feet would cost us, which is $400. And then if we went from 100 and we're like, no, we want 4 times of that, we want 400, then the cost of 400 is also going to be multiplied by 4. It's going to be 1,600. Or in other words, you could see that all of these values are kind of like fractions that are all equal to one another, if you can relate it back to that. Because 100 over 400, you don't have to write this, 100 over 400 can be simplified to 25 over 100 if you divided both numbers by 4. Or if you multiplied both of these numbers by 4. But they're fractions that are equal to one another. Now, what we're doing in this scenario of using the ratio table is that we're going to find the unit rate. So then you got to think back to yourself is, what is the unit rate? And if we look back at our vocabulary, a rate with a denominator of 1 is called a unit rate. We have a lot of rates here. We have 25 square feet for $100, 100 square feet for $400. Those are all rates because they have different units, but those are not unit rates because they don't have a denominator of 1. What the question wants us to do is it wants us to find the unit rate in dollars per square foot. So in other words, we are being asked to find the cost of a single square foot and then here's the measurements for square feet, the units of a single square foot of turf. Because we can see from our ratios that 25 of square feet will cost me $100, but how much is just 1 square foot going to cost me? So then if we're solving for that, do we write the rate as cost per square foot or square foot per cost? And like I said in the last video, I feel like this is a lot more relevant because you've probably heard of something like this. You've probably heard people talk about tile or roofing or even landscaping where they're talking about how much it's going to cost them for every square foot. And so in your minds, you can already imagine that we're going to be using cost over square feet and not square feet over cost. So we're going to set this up as cost over square foot. And we can use any one of these ratios because they're all equal to one another. So what that means is that they're all going to give us the same price. We could start off with the cost of $100 for 25 square feet. And we can simplify that down in order to figure out how much each square foot costs, which means that we would divide both of these numbers by 25 or divide the top number by the bottom number. So whenever you're looking for the unit rate, if you divide the top number by the bottom number, you'll receive a denominator of 1. Let's make a note of that. Whenever you're looking for a unit rate, dividing the rate will turn the denominator into 1. Because here what we would do is, technically what we would do is we would want to divide both sides by 25. Because that would turn my denominator into a denominator of 1 square foot. And so really what you're doing is you're dividing the numbers that were already given. You're taking that 100 and dividing it by the 25, just as we're going to do right now. And 100 divided by 25 is $4. And so we get the unit rate of $4 for every square foot. But we had to, when we took these values, you can see that the rates are originally given from top to bottom in square feet per cost. And we had to flip it. We did cost per square feet because we're looking to see what the unit rate for every square foot is. But if we had done that with the other rate of 100 and 400, if we had done the cost of $400 over 100 square feet, we still would have gotten the same value. If you divide 400 by 100, you get 4 over 1 square foot, $4 per square foot. And so all of these ratios, all of these rates will give you the same unit rate because they're all proportional to one another. Just because we want more turf doesn't mean that it's going to cost us more per square foot. The cost of the square foot is going to stay the same throughout the entire time. All right, so on the next part, you've got some on your own questions. So you can look at the next video to have the answers for the on your own given, but that will be up to you to try on your own. But there is a video that will give you the answers just so you can double check and also just provide you with a little bit more notes to insert into your notes. And then don't forget to also do the summary at the end. At least give me 1 or 2 full sentences.